Neil Loughrey, missionary priest, background, born in Donegal 60 years ago. Usual primary school, secondary school. After secondary school I worked for 4 years as a clerical officer with Donegal County Council and for 2 years as town clerk with Templemore Urban District Council. And it was then that I joined the congregation that belonged to now, the Missionaries of Africa. When I arrived after ordination in 1886, it was really the beginning of the whole epidemic of AIDS. It was Tanzania, well, the East Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, those countries. And again, we were very busy in basically giving AIDS seminars, actually informing the people of the basics of how they get AIDS, how it's spread and things like that, and producing the blueprint of how to avoid it. It'd be very much like what's happening at the moment in terms of, it's very much the news these days, the Ebola epidemic in West Africa. People just didn't know, they were afraid, and people were afraid to touch dead bodies on the hospital and things like that. Again, as I said, through education we're trying to do what we could to help the situation. I often think that when you tear away that little skin or the colour deep down, human beings are basically this, and quite often customs are very similar. One of the things I would say, for example, when people die, I know we haven't, it may not still exist in many places in Ireland, but the traditional Irish way, I think it was basically the same. One of the things was that, okay, because of the heat, when someone died, what happened, if someone died in the morning, they were buried before noon, and if they died in the afternoon, they had to be buried the next morning. But there was a wake for 3 days where people came, sympathised with the people, and then on the last day, there was basically, well, you could call it a feast, where there was a meal and everybody went home. So as I say, to me, quite often I concentrate on the similarities rather than the differences. That's what's sort of, I mean, okay, there were, you asking about difficulties. When I went out first, I went out 80 plus kilos and came back 2 years later at 60 plus. You know, the first experience, like just getting malaria and losing a lot of weight and all that. But then, like, as the years went on, you become, to some extent, acclimatized. But I have no regrets whatsoever.